Guys, wheesht. This is a Scottish word. Wheesht. It means shut up. Okay, let's go. My name is Àlex Saldmon. I grew up in Linlithgow, a town in central Scotland, a very historic town. For most of my political career, however, I represented the northeast of Scotland. I led the Scottish National Party, the Independence Party of Scotland, into government in the Scottish Parliament. And in September the 18th, 2014, held a referendum on independence for our nation. We lost the referendum, but I think we won the hearts of the country. And the future of Scotland, remains to be determined.
Seguim?
Thank you. This Parliament should not stand in their way. Let the people speak. The days of Westminster politicians telling Scotland what to do or what to think are over. Argue against independence, but say there might be something else on offer, they are also duty-bound, sooner rather than later, to spell out what that is. Scotland's future is now in Scotland's hands. Our country, our Scotland, our independence. This is our time, it's our moment. Let us do it now. And Scotland has, by majority, decided not, at this stage, to become an independent country. For me, as leader, my time is nearly over. But for Scotland, the campaign continues, and the dream shall never die.
Quatre gats, amb Ricard Ostrell.
Perdona, sabeu si Àlex Saldmon venia quan era petit aquí, en aquesta església?
Yes, he was.
Sí?
As a young boy, he sang in this beautiful church. Yep.
Cantava?
Yes, a chorister.
I ara ve per aquí, en aquest poble, Àlex Saldmon?
Yes. He comes back. He no longer lives in the town. His father died fairly recently, but he doesn't forget his hometown, and he does come back.
He comes and speaks to people on the street quite regularly.
Ho reivindica, no? Té un punt... Molt bé. Moltíssimes gràcies,
Oh, thank you.
My name is Margaret Ann. I live in Glasgow. I'm 64 years old, and I voted for independence in the referendum in 2014 in Scotland. I worked in the NHS. I am now retired, and I would have voted Labour. In fact, I did vote Labour for most of my life, and I have now voted SNP and continue to support independence for Scotland.
Margaret!
Hello!
Com estàs?
I'm fine, how are you?
Bé, acabem d'arribar, passo. Wow. Quina casa més bonica.
Oh, thank you very much. Have a seat, sit down.
Ok.
So, are we ready to go?
Sí, estic preparat.
Okay, let me get my things.
D'acord.
Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, Richard. Ready?
Vinga,
Ready to go?
som-hi.
Come on.
Ready. Coneixes el lloc on anem ara, a Killin?
I know where it is. I don't know it well. I used to climb, sometimes used to climb the hills here, and Killen, you would go for a coffee or a drink once you'd finished climbing.
Explica'm des de quan fa que tu ets independentista.
I began to think about it, obviously, when the referendum was announced. And over the years, I mean, from when I was a young girl, and I knew a wee bit about history, I was interested. But I didn't really think about it until the referendum was announced.
I això té a veure amb la figura d'Àlex Saldmon?
I think that bits of that are true. I think Àlex Saldmon, although lots of people did not like him, but Àlex Saldmon was a clever politician, and Àlex Saldmon managed to win a lot of support. And when devolution in 1999, Scotland and Wales got their own parliaments within the United Kingdom, and the voting system in Scotland changed, and eventually the SNP benefited from that simply because of the way the system was set up, and there was more and more support.
I com es va viure aquí? És a dir, hi havia molts espais de debat. Per exemple, a la BBC que tu treballaves, hi havia molta sensació que era un tema que estava a tot arreu, a tots els carrers, a tots els bars. Es parlava a tot arreu d'això?
People did tend to speak about it a lot. There were people who sometimes did not seem to know what it meant, what would happen. But yes, I mean, the kind of people I knew in the places that I worked, yes, you would be talking about it. And sometimes within your families, I mean, not everybody in the same family voted the same way or thought the same way. So yes, I think it was spoken about. There was lots on the television, there was lots in the newspaper. It was a big, big issue.
My name is John Angus MacDonald, and I am a Roman Catholic priest. I was born in the Hebrides in the west of Scotland, went to school in Aberdeen, then went to Spain, and I am retired. I am 72 years of age. I retired because I was ill. Now, in the referendum, I voted no.
Padre Angus.
Bueno.
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien.
Le presento una pecadora. Margaret.
Hello, Margaret.
Hello, Angus.
I hope you're well.
¿Cómo
I
es
am
que
indeed, thank
entiende
you.
el español y lo habla?
Porque estuve en España 6 años,
6 años. ¿Dónde?
en Valladolid,
Estudiando.
estudiando.
Ajá.
Y hice filosofía y teología.
Entramos.
Eso.
Let's go.
Okay.
Stay there.
Here.
Vosaltres com us sentiu? Britànics o escocesos?
I would say Scottish. First of all, I would always say I was Scottish. I would also say that I was British, but it would not be my first option.
Well, I'm the same. I am Scottish first, and then I'm British, but I'm proud of both of them.
I am less proud nowadays of being British.
Però què és el que no t'agrada de l'imperi britànic?
I find the attitude, the prevailing attitude in some parts of the UK towards immigration to be really reprehensible. I have to say that.
There are these attitudes, and these attitudes are tied up with class and distinctions between people. But I would say that it has changed a lot. I think that Britain, or Great Britain, or even England, if you like, is more aware of the social aspects of life in the modern world.
I would agree with some of it. Some of the things that I see and some of the things I hear, I'm not sure that I see an awful lot of concern for social injustice.
Scotland, England, Northern Ireland and Wales are tied up in so many things to do with defence, to do with financial things, to do with the law. And I really can't see how, supposing Scotland had another referendum and the vote this time was to leave, how does Scotland go about extricating itself from this, from this unity?
We would manage it, I have no doubt. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be different, might be a bit scary. How would we manage it? I believe that we have enough talent and enough brain power in Scotland to do that. And I do not see it as a slap in the face to the rest of the UK.
Com va quedar la societat just després del referèndum? És a dir, aquesta situació, per exemple, és quotidiana? Passa a les famílies?
There were quite unpleasant things happened before the referendum. You know, people were putting yes stickers on their car so their car wouldn't get broken or injured in any way.
I don't think there were huge incidents like that. The one that sticks in my mind, I'm afraid, is the day after the referendum, when there was a peaceable gathering of pro-independence supporters in George Square, which was on camera, was attacked by a unionist group of people coming down into the square.
And what do you think about families falling out?
I think families fall out over politics all the time. My family didn't vote the same as me. Most of my other relatives who are also in the west of Scotland did not vote for independence.
A Espanya passa el mateix. Qui no vol que es voti, en aquest cas, diu que les famílies es trenquen, i qui vol que es voti i vol que hi hagi independència, diu que les famílies no es trenquen.
I think I said families fall out over politics all the time. They fall out over other things all the time.
Now, the other thing that I heard, and I heard it quite often, friends of mine who said, okay, I was born in Scotland. I am a Scots person. But if Scotland votes to leave the United Kingdom, I am going to live in England.
Mm-hmm. We have no way of knowing. There are a number of my relatives who said they would go and live in England. There's no way they would have gone to live in England.
Escolteu, i Àlex Saldmon? Què en queda d'Àlex Saldmon?
I don't have much confidence in Àlex Saldmon. He promised us an awful lot. He delivered nothing, or very little.
I think he would be seen as a significant figure.
I certainly don't like his latest enterprise.
I would love to see how history looks at this period. I wish I could be alive in 200 years to see how this is reported.
How he is judged.
Moltíssimes gràcies.
Thank you very much yourself.
Thank you.
Mr. Saldmon.
Com estàs?
Molt bé, i tu?
Good.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Gràcies per atendre'ns.
Not at all.
Com és que ens trobem a Londres?
Hey, I'm doing a television program, just like you.
A TV Star.
Well, a television program anyway.
Pugem?
Yes, after you. This one here.
Està primer.
Thank you.
Reconeix aquestes fotografies?
Yeah, that's my hometown in Linlithgow. It's that's Linlithgow Palace, where Mary Queen of Scots, Mary Stuart, was born. I was also born in Linlithgow, but my house was rather smaller.
Vostè havia de fet en un pis de protecció oficial.
It was quite common, very common actually, in Scotland in the 1960s. Most people stayed in council houses. That was houses which are rented from the local council. I mean, the United Kingdom, home ownership generally is much higher than it is in many European countries. But in Scotland, that wasn't the case until the 1980s. And then many of these houses were sold. But when I was a boy, it was very common to have and it was a great place to grow up. There were grand houses, grand families, great community, very important.
Hola.
Hello.
Què tal? Soc el Ricard.
How you doing? I'm John.
Vinc de la Televisió Pública de Catalunya. Aquesta és la casa d'Àlex Saldmon?
Yes, it was Àlex Saldmon's house, yeah. Not lived here for a while.
Ja no hi és. Tu quant temps fa que vius aquí?
About 2.5, 3 years now. In fact, I think actually 4 years. His dad lived here a little while, and then we moved in.
I és una casa que ve molts turistes a visitar-la, o...?
Yeah, during the referendum we had quite a few chapping on the door. We spoke to people, pictures were taken. Yeah, it's been interesting, it's been fun. They were very good. They spoke to us about the Scottish referendum. They did make some cross-reference between obviously the support that was building for the Scottish movement in Catalonia. So there's been quite a few references. But yes, not for a while.
Gràcies per atendre'ns. Ricard.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too, guys.
And a very historic town, Linlithgow. This is where my grandfather, who was the town plumber, very important job. You can't have a town without plumbing. And his interest was in local history and Scottish history. So when I was a boy, he told me great stories about days of yore and Scottish history. Actually, what my grandfather was teaching me, he didn't really mean that the local bakers had stormed the Linlithgow Palace in 1305. He wasn't saying that. What he was trying to tell me, as I realised later, was that ordinary people, if they applied their minds, could make a big difference. The ordinary people, if they applied to minds, could topple kings and free countries, if they applied their minds.
I això de ser d'esquerres?
My politics have always been in the mainstream of Scottish political tradition. Scotland, by and large, certainly in the 20th century, has been a left of centre country in terms of its attitude to politics. Not an extreme left. I mean, Scotland is a combination of things. It's people who, on the one hand, believe in strong social provision. They believe that people should have a fair chance, a decent shout in life, that everybody should get to go to university. So that combination, that, if you like, what used to be called social democracy, is the politics of which I grew up.
Defensi'm la democràcia.
Well, I think probably the best defence of democracy is the words of Winston Churchill, since he's in great vogue just now in films. But he once said that democracy was an appalling system of government, appalling, until you look at all the alternatives, and then it becomes more attractive.
Vostè es considera un antisistema?
Anti-establishment, absolutely.
No li agrada el sistema?
I've never liked well, I couldn't be against the legal system since I was in charge of it in Scotland, so I wouldn't. It's quite good to be in charge of your own courts, incidentally. Sometimes, if you're not in charge of your own courts, unfortunate things happen.
Owen!
Hey!
How are you?
How you doing? Very good, how are you doing?
Ai, com estàs?
Very well, you're looking well.
El Parlament més antic del món?
That is apparently the mother of all parliaments. That is like, it's seen as this big British sacred, thing we say here, that this is the mother of all parliaments, but I don't know how much of a myth that is, to be honest.
Pau Casals va dir que érem nosaltres, el que el teníem més gran.
Oh, well, we're going to have now a fight, a war between Catalonia and Britain about who's got the oldest parliament. This could get really dirty. That's worrying.
Caminem? Fa fred.
Yeah.
Què és la democràcia, Owen?
Oh, what is democracy? What a question. Well, I suppose it depends on, a very limited interpretation of democracy, where you have the sovereignty of the people, is that people can, through free elections and institutions which allow freedom of expression, can determine who governs them. But, I suppose as a socialist, I have a more expansive view of democracy. It's not just people voting every 4 or 5 years. It's people being actively involved as citizens in in the decisions that affect millions of people. So for me, democracy is this living, breathing thing of the citizens being active, participating, directly involved in all the decisions that affect them.
Aquesta bandera per tu és democràtica?
So the European Union is complicated. It was elements of democracy. There were elements which threatened democracy as well. I still think leaving the European Union is very bad for this country, and we should fight to make the European Union more democratic. And those who are in the EU, like yourselves, the struggle now isn't to leave the European Union. It's to remain and reform. It's to transform the European Union into something far more democratic, not run by bureaucrats and corporate elites, but run by the people of Europe.
Tenim una mena de talpa al darrere. Hola.
Hello.
Bon dia.
Hi,
How are you?
All right.
Què està fent vostè aquí?
I'm here to campaign to stop Brexit.
I campaigned for Remain, but we lost 52% of...
Well, I think we all lost. The whole nation lost.
Do you want another referendum, or do you just want to cancel Brexit?
No, I don't want another referendum, but I think people have the right to have